Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So last week I shared with all of you that former DC Police Lieutenant Shane Lamond was on trial. He allegedly conspired with the Proud Boys, and he also allegedly lied to the police about those actions. Well, when I left off last week, former Proud Bigot chairman Enrique Tarrio was poised to take the stand. He was testifying on Lamond's behalf. So he did. He testified on Thursday of last week. Got a little bit heated between him and the judge, which is Amy Berman Jackson. She does not suffer fools. So first, Tarrio refused to confirm text message exchanges between himself and Lemand. He refused to legitimize them. And then Tarrio refused to answer some of the prosecutor's questions. So he tried to plead the fifth, and he said that he didn't want to incriminate himself. So at that point, the judge halted the trial to try to determine how to move forward if he continued to stonewall. And Tarrio was, called back to the stand. The judge explained to him, you agreed to testify, therefore you waived your Fifth Amendment rights. Well, Tarrio didn't like that very much. He told the judge, quote, "I cannot tell you I won't take my Fifth Amendment right when I see fit." So Judge Berman Jackson warned him, quote, "Well, as I see fit, it may involve striking your testimony. It may involve contempt. It may involve a lot of things." And then Tarrio started whining about how, well, the prosecutor shouldn't be able to just ask me any question that she wants. And he said, quote, "This case is not a January 6th case," because the prosecutor was asking him just general questions about January 6th. Like she asked, were the Proud Boys at the Capitol on January 6th? Very simple question. We already know the answer, right? I mean, many of them have been arrested. They've been in prison for a while. He also then argued that he didn't, quote unquote, completely waive his Fifth Amendment rights by agreeing to testify. And so Judge Berman Jackson had to explain to him, quote, "There is not a half of a Fifth Amendment privilege." So you either waive it or you don't. He doesn't seem to understand this. These people think they're so smart and yet doesn't quite understand that simple concept. So then Tarrio told her, quote, "We'll agree to disagree." So the judge laughed because, yeah, it's pretty funny. He's telling her that in her own court. So she said back to him, quote, "Well, I'll just say you're not in charge." And then the judge explained to Tarrio, quote, "What that means is you have to answer all the questions. You don't get to pick and choose." So once they got all the posturing out of the way, Tarrio was asked about Lemand and whether or not he gave Tarrio a heads up about his arrest for burning a BLM flag. You guys will recall, I mentioned this last week, I've mentioned it before, the Proud Boys ripped a BLM flag off of the side of a church in DC, and then they burned it. So Tarrio denied that Lemand gave him advance warning of that arrest, and he tried to say, "Oh, I figured it out. I knew I was going to be arrested because I spotted an undercover agent following me at the airport." So the prosecutor then asked him, quote, "You told followers you had a source in the DC Police Department. Was Mr. Lemand your source? Did he ever provide you information you were not aware of?" So again, Tarrio denies this, and then he claimed that he was just lying to his own members. He said he was basically making it up, lying to his Proud Boys organization about having an inside source because he claims he was trying to, quote, "see what some of the reactions of the guys are. If I'm going to make a decision, I want to see what they say." Yeah, makes absolutely no sense. But anyway, so the prosecutor tried to undermine Tarrio's credibility. She pointed out, this guy is a proven criminal. I mean, he has a criminal history, not just January 6th, not just, his involvement in the Capitol attack, but he did some prison time way back when for selling stolen medical supplies as well. So not exactly the best witness, the most credible witness. And when the prosecutor questioned Tarrio about statements that he made to other people that contradicted his testimony that day, all of a sudden he gets this case of amnesia. He kept repeating, oh, I don't remember. I don't remember. What's really telling is the timing of Lemand reaching out to Tarrio, and then Tarrio going and warning his group of his impending arrest. So the government was able to show, even though they don't have the specific messages and they can't show what was in those messages, they were able to show in that Tarrio's arrest warrant had been issued on December 30th of 2020. He then spoke on the phone with Lemand for almost 15 minutes. So right after the police issue that arrest warrant, he is still not supposed to have knowledge of it. He's on the phone with Lemand for 15 minutes. Within 3 minutes of getting off of that call with Lemand, Tarrio held a, quote, emergency voice chat with his Proud Boys leaders. Also, Tarrio flew out of Florida on January 4th. So he was headed, this was January 4th, 2021. He was headed to DC for the Capitol attack. 7 minutes after his flight took off, Lemand turned on the auto delete feature on Telegram, the encrypted messaging app that they were using to communicate. He sets his functions on the Telegram app to auto delete after, I think it was like 10 seconds or something after after Tarrio would have read his messages, they automatically just are gone. They vanish. Then within seconds of doing that, he sends an encrypted message to Tarrio. So they can see that Tarrio received the message. They can see that Tarrio read the message at approximately 1:27 p.m. At 1:30 p.m., Tarrio informs all of the Proud Boys leaders and 2 other people that his arrest warrant had been signed by the judge. Like I said the other day, I'm sure this is all just a big coincidence, right? So anyway, Lemand also took the stand last week. He claimed that everything he did was just to gain Tarrio's trust. Again, I ask, if that is the case, why did he feel the need? Why did Lemand feel the need to move their communication to an encrypted messaging platform, right? After having used for several years, because they were communicating over a period, as I understand it, of about 2 years or more. So over the course of 2 years, they're using iMessage, they're using Google Voice to communicate, and then all of a sudden, they start using this encrypted app right before the 2020, or right after the 2020 election, right before January 6th, and after this arrest warrant was signed and issued for Tarrio. Yeah, again, totally coincidental. So, and then the prosecutor, while Lemand was on the stand, they got him to admit that, yes, he did pass on other confidential police information to Tarrio. So information that could have given the Proud Boys the opportunity to destroy evidence. And Lemand conceded, again under oath, that the information he passed along, it could have jeopardized officers' safety. They asked, could some of this information have put officers at risk of harm? And he was like, potentially. So anyway, all of that took place last week due to a scheduling conflict with the court. Their closing arguments would have taken place today, but they will take place tomorrow morning. So I will let you guys know what happens, how it all shakes out, and what the jurors come back with. But yeah, it's not looking good for Lieutenant Lemand. I don't know. I think because this is a federal case, that they may, actually I have to go back and look at that and see if this is federal or if this is state charges. but I believe it is federal. If that's the case, then unfortunately, yeah, Trump could help this guy. All right, I will let you know. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you possibly can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.